The Acura MDX is a luxurious and comfortable 3-row SUV that sells between $45,000 and $60,000 as a hybrid. My name is Bruce and I'm reviewing this social climber so you don't have to. If you have an interesting vehicle that I can review in the Philadelphia area, please send me an email to bruceknowsreviews@gmail.com. The Acura MDX is for the risk averse, and that's a real shame. Acura invented the luxury import segment back in the 80s. They should be leading the charge. And the MDX has got real pedigree. It's actually the longest running Acura model, which is saying something. We're talking close to 20 years going on now. Unfortunately, then they let the accounting department take over and stupid decisions ensued. Wait, let's start with a legend. How do you get rid of that name? That's the best car name ever. Even the TL, that was a really successful car model for them, and they don't even sell that TL anymore. They sell something a little bit smaller, not quite as good. It's not that Acura invented the party, it's that they were actually swinging for the fences back in the day. You know, the original Acura NSX was a world beater. It literally made the supercar segment change, improve, become better. A car with no pedigree made Ferrari change the way they designed their cars. But recently, Honda and also Acura have allowed the accountants to take over the company, and not surprisingly, everything has taken a turn for the worse. But back to the MDX, which is miraculously has kept its name. Today I'm showing you a 2019 MDX equipped with a technology package that I borrowed from Marvin. Marvin really doesn't care what you think about what he drives. Marvin traded in a Mercedes-Benz E-Class for this MDX, if you can believe that. He wanted something that's easy to get in and out of, something comfortable, spacious, and reasonably luxurious, and Acura's got him covered with the MDX. The first generation MDX it came out in 2001, it sold until 2006. It was introduced as the response to the Lexus RX 300. The Lexus became Lexus's best-selling model, and likewise the MDX became Acura's best-selling model too. Just really successful. Lexus was better at being a luxury SUV than the Acura was, but still the Acura was great, and it had a third row, which the Lexus did not. I mean, I remember well when it came out. The interior was, you could tell it came from the parts bin of Honda. And it drove fine though. It had the worst steering of any Honda product before and since. It was like driving a Buick from the land yacht days, if you can believe that. The second generation MDX debuted in 2007 and it sold until 2013. It basically was a better vehicle overall than the first one. I mean, that's not surprising, but it was staggeringly better. The exterior was really nice, crisp lines. It had a fantastic interior. It was super futuristic. It had the best infotainment system of the industry. It was just a solid, great product overall. Sold extremely well. In contrast to the first gen, the second gen had the steering of stirring drying concrete. It was just really hard steering. Other than that, it was just a great vehicle. The third generation MDX was introduced in 2014 and it got a mild refresh in 2017. Styling wise, the MDX, it took a turn for the worse, like all Acuras of the last 5 to 10 years. The interior, I can't say that it took a turn for the worse, but it definitely isn't better than the previous one, and it most definitely hasn't kept up with the industry. They introduced the LED headlights with this model, and they're an excellent safety feature, and the rest of the industry has really yet to catch up. The MDX is powered by a 3.5-liter V6 with 290 horsepower and 267 pounds-feet of torque. This engine's been around the Honda Acura parts bin for a very long time, and it's a decent engine. It's powerful enough, it's smooth enough. It doesn't have much character, but it gets the job done, especially with this MDX, which is 4,300 pounds, is really quite light for the size of vehicle. So here's a sales sticker for the brand new vehicle. and you can see all the features. This has the tech package with the folding mirrors. It's got remote start. One thing that you won't see on the sticker is the advanced pack, which has additional parking sensors. It has the ventilated seats, heated rear seats, and a bigger infotainment screen, and what I think is crucially important, which is a surround view reverse camera. And they all come standard with the front, side, knee, curtain airbags. Are very safe vehicles. I will say that a couple of notes. The auto stop is really scary. I mean, I wish I would have caught it on tape, but you know, you're merging lanes and all of a sudden it sees the car in front of you and slams on the brakes, thinking that you're about to ram into it, when nothing like that was ever going to happen. And it catches you by surprise, and I could also see it causing an accident in its own right. What's it like to drive? This MDX purports itself to be a luxury SUV. The MDX is pretty spacious. I'm 6'3", and I have the seat all the way to the back. For a vehicle this size, that's always a little bit disappointing. But that being said, I'm comfortable here for all day driving. There's plenty of clearance for the knees. Everything is padded around. The driver's seat is 12-way power. It's really great. The passenger seat is also powered in the same, and it's also very comfortable. The back seat has the 60-40 split, and they're also adjustable. They slide fore and aft, so that you can adjust for if there's somebody sitting in the third row who happens to have knees and feet, then you can give them a little more room, or if you have the seat down, you can carry more stuff. So there's a couple of things about the drivetrain. If you want to accelerate really hard, first of all, this thing's got the stop-start situation going on. So the moment you step on the gas, first it needs to wake itself up. Then it's also got a 9-speed automatic, which might be great for fuel economy, but it's not great for finding the right gear. That's a lot of hunting of gears if you think about it. The acceleration is not great because it's got things to deal with. 9-speed. I mean, how do you even make up your mind via the transmission? The steering in this MDX is much improved from the previous generations. It actually has the super handling all-wheel drive system, and it's got stability control that applies the brakes, and you wouldn't, unless you're in a panic maneuver, you wouldn't know any of this stuff is, but I have noticed there is a very unique condition where I'm gonna shake the car, and when you do that, after you stop moving the steering wheel, you still feel the rear kind of like adjusting itself, and it's overcorrecting for the body weight of the car being shifted all around with your sudden movements. It's just a little weird. It's a little awkward when you feel it the first time. It's kind of a seat of the pants thing. I don't think that the camera can pick it up. And let me tell you, my pants have very good sensors. Very good sensors. The suspension is pretty well sorted. It has settings for the dynamic mode. You can choose between comfort, normal, and sport. I have it in comfort. It's very agreeable at that level, at that setting. I definitely found when it's, for example, cobblestones, there's no difference between the three suspension settings. They're all handle that kind of chatteriness in the pavement because it's a heavy vehicle and it's got tall tires. But when you go on very heavily pockmarked pavement, you could definitely tell the difference between the three. If it were me driving this full time, I would keep it in comfort and call it a day, because in normal it gets a little bit harsher, and in sport it definitely gets harsher. Mind you, they're not, terribly harsh. It's still a big lumbering SUV, but why would you have different settings Why can't they just give you the one great one? If you go to a steakhouse, and they ask you how do you want your porterhouse cooked, you're obviously going to say medium rare because that's the only way to do it. But what if the chef decides to give you the steak cooked medium rare, and then a part of it cooked medium, and then another part of it well done? Is that steak good? No. You would be returning it, and like, that's focaccia. That's crazy. So if you don't want a steak like that, why would you want your SUV like that? It's crazy. This is what this is watering down because they weren't sure what they were doing. And they think that, you know, and maybe it's true marketing wise, you offer several options and people think, oh, that's so cool. But let's be realistic. You buy the vehicle, you set it once and you forget it. When you're driving it, it comports itself like you would expect a luxury SUV. It's, you know, it's just that competent. It's not extremely good at anything. The MDX is an Acura product, so there's a level of quality and reliability that you're going to expect. It's well put together. Fit and finish is excellent. There's no surprises here. All the technology works, you know, decently. I'm not a big fan of the infotainment system, but it's improved over previous years, and Acura wisely selected not to go with the little mouse controllers like the other luxury brands have, which to me is just very distracting to use. The Acura competes with a bunch of different vehicles in the market. The most direct competitor is the Lexus RX, and now it has a RXL, which is a third row, so it directly competes with Acura. The Lexus is just more luxurious. It's more, the interior is just nicer. The problem with the Lexus is that infotainment system with a mouse controller, horrible. But, you know, people who are driving the Acura MDX wish they were driving the Lexus. Another competitor would be the Infiniti QX60, which is comparable to the Acura. It has a better infotainment system. It has a surround camera. The problem with the Infiniti is that it has the CVT transmission, which no matter how much I dislike this 9-speed automatic in the MDX, hey, I prefer it to a CVT. But the Infiniti does have maybe a nicer interior than this dated looking Acura MDX. Another competitor would be the Lincoln Aviator that just came out. It's got this really nice two-box design. The outside looks great. The interior, the seats are fantastic. The problem with Lincoln is getting people to go to the showroom. The Lincoln just looks cooler. It's just a cooler vehicle. Another one similarly is the Land Rover Discovery, which that styling, that two-box styling again, just, you know, they're not reliable. The infotainment system is hit or miss, but it's got the brand, the badge, and people love a Land Rover. Kia Telluride and its Hyundai brother, they're brand new. I haven't driven them yet, but I know that they look really great outside and inside. And I suspect that they'll be competent enough because every single vehicle market that the Koreans get into, they hit it right on the spot, and they're gonna have good lease deals. Probably the best one in the segment might be actually the Volvo XC90, to believe it or not. The Volvo it has that two-box design again. It looks great. The interior looks fantastic. You're gonna get it with some interesting options like this orange leather, which is really cool. It just looks great, and it's a unique driving experience. It's more utilitarian. It's not quite as luxurious. It feels more mechanical, which is cool. You know, it's an experience, and the Volvo and the Land Rover deliver an experience, and I think that the Lincoln Aviator is going to deliver an experience too. That's pretty funny. It really has a problem with a car wash. This car wants to join the Me Too movement in a car wash. Acura MDX. I like the MDX. It's it's decently luxurious. It's comfortable all day. It looks fine. It's reliable as hell. The lease deals are excellent. It's an overall really good vehicle. Standout features, definitely the stereo sounds fantastic. It's got a lot of safety tech. And the infotainment is, they fixed it from the previous version and it works a little bit better now. You would expect a vehicle that, the sticker on this thing is 52 grand. It doesn't have the surround view camera for when you hit reverse. That should be standard at this price range. The interior's not as luxurious as you would want. It's dated. It's got two screens, which is good, but the resolution is not really great either. This is an expensive vehicle. You would expect more from the infotainment system. But other than that, it's anything that I don't like is minor quibbles. Well, nowadays all luxury or purported luxury SUVs, they're all great nowadays. Acura MDX is competent. It's good enough. Just good enough is not great in this day and age. And the Acura, for being one of the first to market, it should be better. It should be better. Honda used to be the go-getter. They were the company that brought the engineering. They made the perfect vehicle, engines that had a lot of soul to them, unique interiors. They don't really have that anymore. What can you say about the Acura MDX? Well, it's more for realtors, I guess, people who don't care about driving. So if you like this video, hit that like button. I need likes. I don't know why I need likes, but I'd like to know how many likes I need to get a hamburger at McDonald's. Also, do me the great honor of subscribing to my channel. That is actually tremendously helpful for me. It'll support me in moving forward with uploading more videos, and it'll just send you notifications whenever I upload a video. It's not that intrusive, I promise you. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Bruce and the Bruce Knows channel.